Hey world, hey everybody, hey nobody in particular, probably nobody. I'm Numb Thumb, and this is Warheart Arts, and this is my first rant. I got a rant. I am going to rant about audio workstations, and why is there so much anger and hatred and divisiveness about DAWless, people who work DAWless, people who go hybrid. Why do certain analog enthusiasts take it too far and just altogether hate on digital folk? Why do some digital folk who work in the box feel very animus towards people who start to go hybrid, because they have a big hatred for people that work analog altogether? The more closer to true analog you get, the further into that hybrid flow you get. Some in the box proficient people get very upset. Other side of the fence, some people who just work with tape get very upset with the idea of using a DAW. I hope you all know what I'm talking about. It's audio stuff, audio music production. It's this kind of stuff. But I watch all the music production stuff, like most of y'all do. I watch a lot of it. I watch all the big names on my civilian account, and I watch, small people. I really just like to support the smallest channels with Warheart Arts. But my civilian account is aware of all the big channels and what's going on there. And on both small channels and big channels, you just encounter a lot of trolls. Hi there, our Caudle 79. You into audio stuff? We're talking audio stuff. Recording in a digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or Reaper or Logic or something. And then some people record other ways. Some people record other ways still, and that's cool. Hi there, L guy. And there's a lot of divisiveness on the topic. It stirs up. I got, some hybrid recording. I don't record on tape right now. I'd like to be able to record on tape. I would not only record on tape, even if I had a lot of tape, right? I want to get some tape. But I record on a digital recorder, but I don't record in a digital audio workstation on a computer host. I don't record in any kind of software other than the firmware in my Tascam multi-track recorders. And that's fine. There's a lot of benefits to it. Your violin player that's going to perform in an orchestra next month. That's awesome, Dynamite. This is the USA here, Warheart Arts USA. But if you ever do any recording, if you record yourself playing some violin or any kind of instrument, any music, I totally recommend just record on if you got a computer, record on a computer. You can get free software. Use a DAW. Use a digital audio workstation. I'm not against that. I don't generally use one for most of what I do here, but I'm not against it either, and I will, and I have, and I shall. There's no reason to get upset about either one, but man, do people get their feathers ruffled about it. Something's glitching. My volume is, I don't yell at the camera. My volume is down. I don't know if that affects it. Sorry. I'm not a loud person until I pick up a guitar. But I'm going to name some names. I don't remember them all, but I'm going to name some names. Get ready. Here's the gossip tree. I was checking out Mario DeSanto big fan. Check out at Mario DeSanto. He records on tape. He's all analog. Like, he's really all analog. All analog. It's cool. Because that's what he wants to do. And people are always saying, oh, why are you doing something the way you want to do it? Because I'm not doing... Why? It upsets you that I'm not doing it the way you want to do it. Hi, Mason. Escape your days. And the better you get at doing something your way, I guess you might be prone to insist anybody else that knows what they're doing has to do it the same way I'm doing it, or you ain't doing it right. And I know that a reason I do a lot of things is because I don't know what I'm doing. And then a lot of the things that I choose to do, I am well informed of what I'm doing, and I do know what I'm doing. So, do I claim to be an expert in anything? Not very much. Not very much in life. Do I claim to be an expert in this stuff? No. No. But I know what I know, and I know the fundamentals of how audio works, both in wires and in the digital realm, which are two very different beasts. Can anyone clap the time signature pi over? I wonder. Like clap it on a as a metronome? I don't know. To turn a triple beat into pi, be a little bit off of a third beat, 3.146 da da da. I don't know. Interesting. I would try. There's a ton of reasons that an audio person, and an audio engineer, recording engineer, or anything like that, there's a ton of reasons a person like that would tell you, don't do it the way I do it. Don't do it with this. Don't do it with all this and all this. They'd probably be right. There's a good reason for that. But then there's, certain people with a certain taste. It's not necessarily better. Mario DeSanto never said recording analog is better. I've been watching his stuff for a while, and he doesn't say that, because it's not what he believes. He believes analog recording is for him, and he's just sharing some reasons why in many of his videos, and it's great. And he gets a lot of gruff. And so I was getting some gruff and some comments on his videos and other people's channels simply for saying that a hybrid situation is cool, has its benefits, and I really got a lot of gruff. Yes, hi Angela Aaron. I see you, hi Angela Aaron. I was catching a lot of gruff, specifically for working DAWless, and even mentioning DAWless in some of these audio circles. I caught so much gruff by some troll, whatever, because they want to do everything digital, and then they're going to tell me, you could really benefit from working in a DAW. You think I don't know? You think I don't? I've read so many audio engineering college level books. I've used every DAW that came out in the first 20 years of there being DAWs. I know what they can do. I know how they can benefit me. I know it's not worth my workflow choices most of the time. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, and I will. I'm okay with bridging. So I'm not a purist at all. I want all this workflow because I'm a tactile person and I come from that background. I'm not some computer-born baby with an iPod umbilical cord. So, it's just a matter of preference. It's completely a matter of preference. People want to kill your joy. That's what this rant is about. This rant is about the hybrid haters. Those people that flip out when you say DAWless because they're so heavily invested in everything they can do in their DAW. And the people that are so heavily invested in sounding the same. Oh, you gotta sound. What's keeping you from sounding pro is just something that's gonna make you sound the same. Once you sound the same, oh, now you sound pro because you sound the same. So that's lame. Sameness is lameness. I'm Numb Thumb, and I'm saying sameness is lameness. That's not the only phrase I'm coining. I've already coined the phrase hybrid audio workstation. HAW. You spell that H-A-W. This is my HAW. This is my HAW. All of it together. All of it together is my HAW, my hybrid audio workstation. And it is not hosted by any operating system. And it has all kinds of benefits and hindrances. I could name 20 reasons to never go hybrid. I could 20 reasons to never try analog, and 20 reasons why analog and hybrid are great. And I might start making those kind of clickbaity videos just because I know people will click. But I'm going to start right off with a live rant, and that's how it is. I swear, if someone tells me to play G, D, A, E all at once on a violin, oh, a 4-note chord, yeah, somebody that's never held a violin or closely looked at one would say that. A guitar player that's never played with a violinist or cellist. Yeah, violin bridge, the bridge of a violin bows so much that you can only play 2 notes at a time on a violin on 2 adjacent strings, unless you're some sort of crazy whiz playing with 2 bows. I get it. Right. Yeah, you couldn't do, I mean, maybe you could if you detuned the violin and had the loosest bow in the world. Maybe you could get it to strike all 4 strings. I don't see how it's conceivable. You would have to, like, break your bridge, right? Violins play 1 or 2 notes at a time. Cellos play 1 or 2 notes at a time. And that's how their pieces are written, and that's how they're played. They're not a flat or barely, pretty much flat bridge like a guitar where you can play all 6 strings at once. It's not like that. I got a violin or 2. It needs some work. It's broken. It's put away somewhere. The high string is broken and it's missing some of the hardware. I don't know violins. I don't know shit about them. I gotta try and fix it sometime. But and I need a new bow, or I need to rehair my bow. It's shot. I have no resin. I'm not equipped to fix the old violin right now, so I'm not worried about it. But I like old instruments. I have a few. I'll probably always just collect old instruments if they're free or cheap laying around. I'm not gonna let them go to junk or the wayside. But back to the rant. I work the way I work because it brings me joy, and it helps me arrive at the finished product I want to arrive at in a way that feels natural to me. Could I arrive at a similar or better destination taking a different path? Sure. Will I? Sure. I'm always down to take a different path. Sometimes. But always sometimes. Always sometimes. Hybrid. That's the point of hybrid. Is always sometimes. Is hybrid or analog really better? The answer is yes. If you just want to record some music, you can record music on your phone. You can record music on your on a tablet, any laptop. If you want to get sophisticated with it, get a laptop or your desktop computer. And there's all kinds of software, the free trials and whatnot, DAWs that you can buy. You probably should do that if you don't already have a bunch of live sound recording gear, etc., music instruments. You know, musics are for live sound. This is a recording console. It's not a concert mixer. But if you can only get a concert mixer, like a Mackie mixer or a Yamaha mixer or something, go for it. Cool. This is a recording console. It's not high end. It's not a Neve. It's not even a Trident. It's not even a Toft. But it's a recording console and it's badass and I like it. I like it a lot. And this stuff's not expensive. I don't have high-end stuff. I can do with this entry-level slash medium to budget range. I don't have anything high-end in here. I can do stuff with that anybody can do with all the plugins in their DAW too. Pretty much, I can get it done. I don't have a lot of things actually that I can't do. If you want to get down to it, there's a lot of things over here I cannot do in the analog realm. But I find I don't need to. I do enough in here that I don't need certain plugins that you rely on when you work in the box all the time. That said, if that's what's working for you, cool. Use whatever's working for you. But ton of people are working DAWless. It's a huge craze. I can name a bunch of channels. People that mostly work DAWless. Some that don't. Some that work in a strange state of flux, where they're doing a lot of standalone production and recording, and then they float it over to a DAW to mix. That's cool. Some people do the opposite. A lot of people are doing the opposite. They're doing full DAW production, and they're exporting, and they're wanting to run everything analog. They want analog mix down, or at least analog full conversion and back on your tracks. And that's something we offer here at Warheart Arts, by the way. You can send up to 12 tracks, or is it 10? I got to consult my manual and my technicalities. I'll say 10 right now, unless it's 12. You can send up to 10 mono tracks, and I can run them 1-to-1 conversion through this, with or without EQ, as I think it helps, or not. So all your stereo digital tracks could be run through this board. And if you don't see the point in that, cool, don't bother me. When you say DAWless to people that are so invested their time of mastering their DAW, some people don't need to dig in that deep into the heavy functionality of their DAW, and then some people have plenty of time, they really get into it, they really dig into the functionality of their DAW. Cool. Really cool. Computers can do some wild, crazy shit. Computers can do things that are impossible in the analog realm. Therein lies my objection. I won't use a DAW to do something that doesn't work in the analog realm anyways. That there is no analogous version of that in the hardware world. Certain examples of that are Dynamic EQ. There is such a thing as multiband compression in the analog realm, but not dynamic EQ. That's a weird one. Linear EQ. I guess I've heard of a couple units that claim to be a linear EQ in analog hardware, but I still don't think it's actually true. But the digital linear EQs, I don't see the point in them, first of all, and there's really no general audio hardware version of that, and so I don't do that. I don't even like doing auto tune, as you know. As you know, I don't do auto tune. Timing is a pain. Is a thing. I mean, if you're gonna edit, if it's an edit, it's an edit. If you're gonna change the timing of a performance, it comes down to why. Are you changing the timing of the performance in order to re-perform the performance, like put in a stutter, resample a portion here or there to make it repeat? I don't know. Sure, I guess. Go for it, but it just comes down to, oh, I copy pasted this, and I copy pasted that, or and then everything's just going to be quantized. You're altering a performance in a way that, why perform it? It makes me wonder, why did you perform it? Why do you perform a piece that you needed to edit it and quantize it and auto-tune it and pitch it so heavily? It's because you probably recorded noise. If you record music the way you're making it to be music, it requires a lot less post-production. It requires a lot less processing. It requires a lot less remixing. It requires a lot less, how can I make this music interesting? Well, we try to make interesting. We try to inject something interesting, some quality, into a boring, pointless recording. Now those are some harsh words. Who wants to hear their music called boring and pointless? Nobody wants to hear that. To avoid that, work on composition. Work on composition and recording real sounds, original sounds. Because AI has already done absolutely everything possible with the newest plugins that just fucking came out. The brand new sounds that you're looking forward to making new beats this weekend, already done. Every mathematical probable possibility of every new sample pack that's been released, AI has made that music. Done. And made it better than you were going to. And released it. It's available already. And it's collecting streams, and they got farms streaming it right now. The music you were going to start working your beat on after this video, you're going to load up your beat maker, your DAW, and your new plugins. It's done. It's been done. What are you going to do? You're gonna fiddle around in Contact some more? Sure. If it brings you joy, do that. But if you think you're making professional sound, you sure are. Sameness. If you're pursuing sameness, I've heard all the sounds. We've already heard the beat. And I don't mean we've heard something like it. I mean we've literally already heard the sample. Music is moving faster than producers can because the machines do it faster. But I guarantee you, what you haven't heard, you've never heard in your life. Now that might just sound like a noise, a couple noises stacked together. But your ears and your brain and the neurons in between them have never heard that sound unless you've rewatched this video twice or more. You've never heard that. How many times have you heard the kick on a 808? What's that doing to your brain? How many times have it been quantized? Quantized timing is really bad for the brain. Read it. Read up on it. But when somebody's spent 2 years, doing the tutorials and the extra master courses on Pro Tools, and then they've invested, maybe they've been doing this since they had to buy the big PCIe Pro Tools cards, and they've had so much investment in their learning the digital of it, learning the digital of it, learning the digital of it. And that's not just the audio engineering. Obviously, it comes with all the other IT issues of maintaining a complex computer system. I don't have to deal with that here. I have to for file transfers and stuff, but like my BIOS isn't gonna crash. Where do I plug in the iLock on this thing? My subscriptions. How many subscriptions is this costing me? No. There's a lot of benefits to it. I don't recommend somebody new getting into analog. I don't recommend it. It's for certain tastes. Certain seasoned tastes, I would probably add. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of money. I mean, you could easily spend way more money than I have here on just the computer. And maybe a controller, plug-in package. You can get started with something like this even cheaper. You don't need all this until you realize you need it. And even mentioning in a jokingly way to certain recording people, music people, whatever we're called, music people, I'm music people. You can call me a lot of things, just call me Num Thumb. But when you mention Dallas to somebody that's that invested in their digital audio workstation, boy, do they get burnt up and defensive, and are gonna then say things like, you need to work in a DAW. You should be working in a DAW. Why should I be doing anything anybody says you should be doing this way? You should be driving this. You should be wearing that. You should be licking this. You should be sniffing that. Why? Hey, Tom Shady. Tom Shady, I know this guy. I'm ranting about music production, Tom. Ranting about there's different ways of going about recording and mixing. And it seems to be a big controversial divide. And it doesn't need to upset people, but people get upset. But those are mostly just trolls. I think the real Warhearts out there don't troll other artists. They call out bullshit. Anybody's right to call out some bullshit, but the real artists out there don't need to troll other artists. And or lecture them like it's their first day on Earth. Or like they're brand new at this. If I was brand new at this, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this. This is like getting into hybrid and almost analog. If I had a multi-track tape machine, I would just be all analog because I like it. But to get into hybrid audio workstation the way I do, with the whole. It's like going for the battleship chest tattoo. Don't. That's not for your. That's not for somebody for your first tattoo. If you're untattooed, you don't go in for the battleship across your chest tattoo, right? So don't. I wouldn't dive into hybrid the way I do till you're somewhat seasoned and aware of what you're getting into. But I guess that's the bulk of the rant. I could probably make some more points, but I didn't write them down in advance. Um, and we see this. I see it from people that don't produce anything. People that are unproductive are the first to criticize those who do. But that's not exclusively true. There are also some very professional people, real pros. I've talked to a lot of real pros, um, both in the comings and goings of my career and in my new career, just dicking around on YouTube. This is just dicking around. It's YouTube. Come on, who expects to be living at this? Sellouts, I guess. But even some of the pros just don't understand why I don't do everything exactly the way they do. How are you going to do anything other than the way I did? I'm a different person. And I'm doing a different thing. And the day I reproduce something perfectly that something has already been done is a day wasted in art. You could say everything I do is influenced by something else. Yeah. Not in the same way AI has literally copied the waveforms of all other music and all other movies and all images that it's ever seen. You can replicate that, influence its output. Obviously, we're all going to get replaced by AI. We've already seen it. Have you walked inside of a fast food restaurant? There used to be people working in there. Now there's like two back there. You order your stuff yourself on a big tablet. So we're going to see it all go that way. And when it comes to the artists, I think we're going to see a big resurgence in art that you can prove was made with less technology, with less digital dependence. While you got a big pack that's going to obviously chase the trend this way, I think we're going to see some people go this way, and we're going to see a market and a public response out of left field that's going to support artisan artisan art, stuff that was made with your hands, stuff that was made in a moment, stuff that was made with no trick dickery to the final presentation. Art that represents some kind of a skill or a statement instead of a plugin suite. And I don't know. It's probably going to get to a point where the most valuable music is going to be the music that's being performed by expert musicians, put together by expert composers, with no AI assistance. And they'll be able to. And there's very little way that you'll be able to prove it, I guess, unless it was all impromptu at a live setting, and you can see all the musicians and composers, and there's not a computer in the room or an earpiece hooked up to them, other than playback. I don't know. To get all hardcore about it, like a Gestapo. How real is is your art? How real? How real does it need to be? Does it need to be chiseled on a cave wall with a stick to be authentic anymore? I would credit chiseled art in a rock face over any digital video or image now, because AI's already got it. AI took it, AI repeated it, AI can regurgitate it. You can't trust anything I see or hear. But it the worse it gets, the better it gets, the worse it gets. Um, Now BMI and ASCAP, you can register that shit. They're gonna pressure the copyright to be able to copyright AI produced garbage. Unauthored works. Unauthored works are now going to take 99% of all sync royalties. Wait and see next year. By the end of next year, that's going to be the situation, is my prediction. I recommend you follow some of the music legal channels. I'll name the names. Miss Crystal, the top legal attorney. Her channels have got a pain in the ass, getting hacked all the time though, with fake messages, so it's a bullshit. I watched the channel, but I had to unsubscribe. Some of the other big channels, I don't need to name everybody. You know who they are, but the ones that breach into analog, they're still hybrid. They're on the other side of hybrid. You know, they're working in the box, and they're occasionally leaking out of the box and then back into the box to use some hardware gear, like an analog compressor or something like that. Might be all it is. That's cool. That's cool. Hardware is way cool. And running your stuff out of your DAW and into some hardware, grabbing those knobs and juicing it, getting a hardware sound out of it, it's not actually replicable in the digital realm. But that's a different conversation. I was talking about AI, but the reason I was talking about AI is because I'm talking about digital music production. There's ways to record music and produce music that's fully digital on a computer. And then there's ways to use other standalone gear, other outboard gear, to make music that's not in a computer. And there's ways to do the whole process without ever using a computer anywhere in the process. And some people do that. And some other people hate that people like me do that. With all this stuff. And, this stuff. You can do a lot of stuff with machines. Sure. Why not? This is a good sized console. It's a 48 input Soundtrax Topaz recording console. 24 faders, 8 groups. Does everything I need it to do and more. And it sounds amazing. And it's tactile. And it's actually quite compact here in my little home studio. I do mixes here. I do mix work. I do production. I record stuff here. What the heck are you doing? I'm ranting. I'm sitting here in my studio, and instead of recording or mixing, I'm ranting. Because you gotta rant sometimes. The algo said so. I communicate directly with the algorithm. It tells me what to do and I ignore it because we're mad at each other. But I'm ranting about killjoys, haters. I'm hating on some haters. There are hybrid haters out there. Analog antagonists. Digital defenders. Whatever you want to call them. I sure am cranky. I'm actually just putting on an act. You gotta act cranky when you're ranting. But I had somebody, say some weird nonsense. I had a number of people in the past couple days alone say a bunch of nonsense that I should not tell anybody to consider working dollars. I've been told by music people that I should not tell anybody to work dollars. I don't tell anybody to work dollars. I recommend the possibility. I put it out there. That's all. I uh, I do this because it is therapy. I I enjoy my system and my workflow. I like making music the way I make music. If I couldn't make music this way, I'll make music another way. No matter what, I'm going to be making some art. I'm going to be making some art. There's different ways to do things, but I like the tactile, hands-on, old-fashioned, maybe, tradition. I like the traditional workflow of gear and music. Workflow is crucial. This is not a fast situation. I could actually demonstrate how down can take a long time because of this workflow. But it is the workflow that works best for me. I've done a lot of digital mixes, and I've gotten a lot better at this than I ever was at that. I can tell you that too. Basket weaving. I am not good at basket weaving, but Mrs. Warheart can weave a basket. Mrs. Warheart can weave dream catchers, baskets, keychains, anything that can be woven. She can weave blankets. She can weave detailed art in wool blankets. But I don't think for me it would be a good thing. Basket weaving is too much like jigsaw puzzles, and I can't stand jigsaw puzzles for more than a few minutes at a time. I'm not big on the jigsaw puzzle. So weaving that eye of repetitive detail, not big on repetition. Repetitive. Not my not my go-to, but then again, somebody else might say my music's very repetitive. Yeah, I guess compared to some other music, my music very repetitive. And compared to some other people, it's not repetitive enough. But I'll tell you what is repetitive is people getting upset when you suggest they try um, working in a hybrid situation when they're all in the box, or when they're working hybrid if and they're complaining about computer problems. When they come out and openly complain about computer problems, and I just mention, well, I work Dallas, then they get all angry and butt hurt and start saying I shouldn't be saying anything about anything, and I'm an idiot because Dallas is one of the main ways I work. It's not the only way I work. I'm not that dogmatic. I'm not that black or white. People see things very black or white. I like music. I like cover bands, said John Lover. John Lover Jr. John Lovell, sorry. John Lovell Jr. likes music. I love music, of course. There's a lot of great cover bands. There are so many great bands out there. And well, the thing about doing covers is that's how you learn songs and stuff. Not everybody's a songwriter. I think not every band even has a songwriter. That's why most bands, you can only get a gig if you play a lot of music people know. Like steady gigs, the bars, the events. They're pretty much looking for cover bands. They're not looking for all original acts because it's very hard to attract a, a crowd and keep them there for a while for an all original act that wasn't already known and advertised for that band. Like if you're just trying to get a gig, you gotta throw some cover songs in there until you're like actually doing the the songwriter only thing. It's like a whole nother breakthrough. And yeah, the cover bands make the money. The singer songwriter that doesn't have a following yet is trying to get out there with their songs, man. You ain't gonna make no money, man. You ain't gonna make no money. Do your art. You ain't gonna make no money. Even the bands doing the gigs with the covers ain't making the money. The economy's in the toilet. People don't value music like they used to. People don't value human interaction like they used to. It's not about the music going down the toilet. It's people not valuing people. If people value people, you would value people's work. You would value people's mere existence when it doesn't directly benefit you right now. There's a lot of people out here that don't benefit me right now. I don't get to discredit them for that. There's a lot of people out there that don't benefit you right now. You don't get to discredit them just for not benefiting you right now. It's not all about me. It's not all about you. But what is in your hands is happiness. Your own happiness can be in your hands. It's not something somebody else is going to give you. It's not something else somebody is going to describe for you and fill out the requirements. And until you check the box on that checklist, you're not happy. You won't be happy. That's a lie. I don't believe things like that. Happiness is whatever you can make happy for you. Rob Ross is a really good inspiration for life. If it makes you happy, and if it doesn't make you happy, it probably doesn't need to be in there. John Lowell says I'm wrong. He's rich because he's very successful with cover songs, I'm guessing. That's cool, dude. Bing, bada, boom. My very first band was an all-cover band. And then we started writing a couple songs. And it was fun. That's when I realized I'm going to keep writing songs until I write some good ones, because those are terrible. Do I know about Arnold? Who's Arnold? He PQ'd. You just got lucky. But there are some people that will do visual arts. Maybe they try and sell their commercial art. Or maybe they do prints, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're just like doing art for the heck of it. How do they do their visual arts? How do you do your visual arts? I'm asking you. Is it strictly on a tablet with a stylus? Strictly with the software. That's cool if it makes you happy. And if you make some decent art you want to share, that's cooler. But a lot of people use their hands. A lot of people use a pencil or ink or paint on the end of a paintbrush. A lot of people are still doing that. And they're still making great art. There's no reason for the painter to criticize the tablet stylus user. And there's no reason for the tablet stylus user to criticize the finger painter or whatever. The sculptor with their hands or anything else. There is somebody out there doing a stop motion claymation original show or series even. Probably a single episode takes like 10 years. So They're still working on it, but they're doing it. People are doing that shit. Why? Why would they do that when they could use software and a computer to help them do that immensely faster? And it would look better too. Well, what's the point of why? Why would somebody? Why would a claymation nerd want to do it without doing it? They want to do it by doing it. That's the point. There are people that play Warhammer 40K on a tabletop with miniatures. Still, there are new people just getting into that hobby. Still. And then there's people that have been invested in that game for 30 years and have invested literally thousands of dollars. And then there's people that will just play the digital version on their computer. And they're like, why the hell would you play the actual tabletop Warhammer? Maybe it brings those people joy. You don't need to hate their joy, and they don't need to hate your joy. It's not a competition of who's right or wrong. And don't tell me that one is more professional than the other. Don't tell me that only working all in the box is the only way to be professional with sound. Don't tell me that only recording on tape is the only way to be professional with sound, because you're both liars. Because both can work, and either can work, and each and all can work. But if your only concern is drawing money and being able to point to some formula that worked, then you're not talking about joy, and you're barely talking about art. I'm Numb Thumb. This is Warheart Arts.